Hey everyone, welcome back to The Lookout. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is a geography channel. We usually focus on forest fires and forestry and fire management here on the West Coast. But right now, Iran is big time in the news. Thought we'd do a broadcast on the geography of Iran, where it is, what it's all about, how big it is, etc. So we're going to play our sponsors here and then we'll go straight into the map. All right, so where's Iran? Here we are in the United States. So if we go over here across the Atlantic Ocean and north of Africa through the Mediterranean Sea, we get to the Middle East. And the Middle East is everything pretty much between Africa and Asia. So we got the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman, the Red Sea, Arabian Sea. We've got Israel here between Egypt and Turkey. Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran. It's this big country here in Afghanistan. So Iran's bigger than Iraq. It's bigger than Afghanistan. It's about half the size of India. I'm not sure how many people understand just how big. Iran is. Basically, if you took one tip and put it up here by Portland, Oregon, the other end would be all the way down into middle of New Mexico. It would stretch from the Mexican border all the way up to Yellowstone. And basically, Iran is 636,000 square miles. It's 1/6 the size of the United States. It's as large as Alaska, and it's twice as large as Texas. If you put it on the East Coast, it would reach from New Orleans all the way up to Vermont. It's got 92 million people. It's as large as Texas, California, Montana, and Illinois all combined. So why did I bring this up? We're basically in a war with Iran right now where we are bombing them and shooting missiles at them. But there's really no talk of a ground invasion or even what the country looks like. You know, I think that a lot of the times we see a map of Iran and it's this big brown expanse, and we think it's just all desert or something. But it's a pretty diverse country geographically. It's got two large mountain ranges, the Zagros Mountains that run here kind of northwest to southeast, and it's got the Alborz Mountains in the north that are between the Caspian Sea and the bulk of the country. The middle of the country is a giant plateau that's about 3,000 feet elevation. These Alborz Mountains on the north have a lot of peaks that are over 10,000 feet. The largest one is pretty close to Tehran, and it's 18,000 feet tall. So the city of Tehran, where we're really focusing a lot of our bombing and everything, is basically inside of a giant natural fortress. It's protected from the north from a land invasion by these 10,000-foot mountains. It's protected from the west by the Zagros Mountains. And this is one of the reasons that Iran and the Persian kingdom survived so long. You know, Tehran has been a city for 6,000 years, in part because it's really hard to get there from anywhere else. And the very few travel routes in and out of this country are defined by geography and places, they're pinch points, basically. So you can't just march 100,000 troops into Iran without them being focused by a geography and pretty obvious, right? It's not like you're going to sneak into there. Tehran's a huge city. It's the size of New York City in population. It's almost 10 million people. The city of Mashhad here in the northeast corner is the size of Los Angeles. Isfahan here in the center is the size of Houston. The country's got a population of 92 million people, and it's got a 90% literacy rate, highly educated population, especially among the youth. 98% of the youth under 24 years old are literate, have been through school. Very urban population. Only 23% of the people live in the country away from cities. Median age is fairly young, 33 to 34 years old. The country, as you can see in photos like this, is extremely rugged. So looking at the Middle East here, we've got Saudi Arabia, we've got Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan. And when we look at the map like this, I think we often think that it's just one big giant sand dune or something. You don't really see that there's a lot of about 11% of the country is cultivated. And so you've got this river valley here in the southwest corner of the country, extensive agriculture, and highly developed water systems. We've got big reservoirs in the mountains here. It's a dry country, but they store a lot of water and then they irrigate. There's been civilization here for thousands of years, and this land is highly developed. There are only a couple of rivers in the country that don't drain to the interior. But you can see here that the agricultural land in the southwest corner of the country is really highly developed. So this satellite imagery shows where right now there's some snow. There's a lot of high country here. So there's blue areas show snow in the high peaks of the mountains. You can see that the interior is this vast plateau that's at about 3,000 foot elevation. There's not a lot growing there, but then you see all along the kind of western and southern margins of the country, there's green right now, kind of springtime growth. And that brings us to talk about the Strait of Hormuz. You've been hearing about how the gas prices right now are spiking because there's no way to get oil through the Strait of Hormuz. And the reason that that's a big deal is if we look at where the Strait of Hormuz is, we've got the Persian Gulf here, which accounts for 20% of the world's oil production. So this map here shows where the major oil deposits are in the Persian Gulf, in Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, and then down here into Qatar, Bahrain, Oman. These are the Gulf states down here, UAE. And when we look here at the Strait of Hormuz, it's only about 30 miles across, about 40 miles across here. And right now, no boats want to go through there. And why is that? Well, we've got like this entire Iranian shoreline to the north with kind of unlimited opportunities for missile launchers and drone bases and anything you could think of. There's this enormous amount of geography here along the Persian Gulf that is Iran, where you could move missiles and drones. And Iran has proven that it has the ability to strike long distances. Iran is striking the Gulf states. Obviously, if Iran can strike down here in the Gulf states, it can strike with will into the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump said that we're going to send ships to escort oil ships through the Strait of Hormuz, but as far as I know, that's not happening. I don't think that the Navy is very excited. Getting in too close to Iran and within strike of their missiles. Here's a map of current carrier strike group locations. The Abraham Lincoln is way out here in the Indian Ocean, and Gerald Ford is in the Mediterranean Sea. But Iran's right in the middle here. And so it doesn't seem like the Navy's in a big hurry to come in here to the Straits of Hormuz. Here's an interesting map that I just found today, which shows oil deposits, major deposits highlighted in yellow and orange, and then religion. And so you've got the dark green is Shiite Muslim, the light green is Sunni, and Saudi Arabia here is ruled by Sunni people. And so there's this article that I read says that with all this concentration of oil wealth in lands that are majority Shiite Muslim, that a long-term fear of Saudi Arabia is that at some point Iran will take over this side of the Gulf and they'll be out of luck. Iran is a very diverse country geographically. And so here on the Caspian Sea, on the north side of the country, we've got a coastal plain here that rises up into the Alborz Mountains. There's a lot of agriculture here. This is more like kind of rainforesty. Some of these places here get like 3 feet of rain a year. But as you can see here, we've got these really massive, rugged mountains between the Caspian Sea and the interior. And over here is Tehran. So Tehran is farther north than I had imagined in Iran. I thought I'd pictured it to be more in the central of the country. But yeah, so it's New York City-sized country here, Tehran. And the foothills here, like people are living basically up into the hills here, and the highest areas in the foothills are like almost 6,000 feet in elevation. And that's why when we turn on our satellite imagery right now, we see that these areas north of Tehran actually have a lot of snow right now. And as you get farther north, that's just clouds. And you can see that kind of coastal plain of the Caspian Sea. So in the big picture, like, we're not going to have a land invasion of Iran from the north. We don't have a lot of friends and allies that are going to let us operate up in here. I got a map here of U.S. air bases, major air bases. All of these air bases in the region down here have been getting hit with drone and missile strikes. I think just to wrap it up, I just want this graphic of doing the research here today. I think this graphic really is the one that gave me the biggest heebie-jeebies. We've got Iran here between Iraq and Afghanistan, two countries that we've invaded in the last 25 years and been unable to achieve our initial objectives. You can see it's much bigger than both of them. It's got the topography of Afghanistan, and unlike Iraq, it's much more united internally. It's, much more monolithic religiously. It stood up to decades of sanctions from the West. And I think if anything, if we're expecting to bomb Iran and have the people all come out and be happy about it, think of what happened to us when we got bombed in 2001. The United States united against the people that were bombing us. So I'm not sure why we would think that bombing them is going to make them, and killing their supreme leader is going to make them kind of suddenly run out and thank us and want to be part of our parade. There's a lot to unpack there. We try not to get too political on the lookout, but geography matters. History matters. Geographers like to say that historians are just geographers without maps. The lessons we've learned tell us that we can't win military conflicts with air power alone. I want to wrap up with this map of Iran superimposed on the Western United States. I want to have a little thought exercise here where we imagine that our goal is to come overthrow the Mormons in Salt Lake City, and we're invading from the port of San Francisco. Can you imagine trying to move all your troops and material over the Sierra Nevada mountains through Donner Summit and then all the way across Nevada against an enemy that has spent thousands of years fighting battles on this terrain and spent the last 30 years preparing for a war with the United States? Next time you're driving across Highway 80, imagine the logistics of trying to fight a war across that geography. All right, so that's our broadcast for today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe to this channel. Check out our website, thelookout.org, where you can find more of our map geek. Thank you all.